We welcome you into the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Brett Elmore alongside Brian Helf, WJNX Sports. Brian, good to see you. Another week behind us, and you look at the schedule and you say, man, this thing's almost over with.
It was the point of the region season. Some teams taking this week off to prepare, others playing non-region games. But this was our last final week of full-fledged action until the break's over with.
We'll go over the games from last week and, of course, this coming week. But Coach Reeves will be joining us at the bottom of the hour, the head football coach of the Jasper Vikings. But what do you think? Where are we at right now in the Wal-Win area, in your opinion, as far as has things went kind of like you thought they would, or is there a surprise? Is there a disappointment? At this point in the season, we start looking at all that and looking at the region races and everything. But where do you see the state of the Wal-Win right now?
Well, looking at a few of the bumps, obviously one of them was Dora losing a corner. I thought they would take that one this year. The good news is Dora's in the exact same spot they were last year. They could run the table and somebody can upset corner and they can end up being region champion.
True.
Lynn is exactly where I thought they would be. They're being superpowers. I didn't see Addison and Meek losing before they got to each other's contest next week.
Yeah.
But outside of that, they're both one loss in their regions. And, of course, then there's Oakman out there that has just been an absolute joy to watch them grow from what they were last year to this year.
You were talking about Meek and Addison. Of course, Coach Evans from Meek will be our guest next week on the show. I believe that game, if everything works out the way it should and the way you think it will, that could be for home field advantage.
It would be. I think that's going to be the qualifier for second. Now, Hackleburg's still got some games to play.
Yeah.
They could be knocked, though it's kind of hard to imagine if they've already beaten Meek and Addison how anybody else in that region is going to be able to top them. But, it's setting up next week, Brett. It was a monumental week last year.
Yeah.
It's setting the same up. We have some teams that are interchanged, but it's still setting up. So much is going to be determined next week.
You're right, and we've got a whole lot of football to play, and we'll see how it all pans out. But I tell you, we look back at this past week. You talk about Corner 4-0, second consecutive season. And I think this is the first time they've been ranked since like the mid-'90s.
Yeah, it's a good possibility of it.
I think it's 96.
We knew of hearing the Coach Reeves talk before their scrimmage, 28 seniors returning, a lot of returning experience. They are sharing the undefeated first place right now with Oak Grove. But Oak Grove, if you look at some of their opponents, they just barely beat Hamilton by 3 points. They haven't played the rigors that Corner has played or Dora has played. So I'm giving that spot to Corner, but we don't know how this is going to shake out. Haleyville's still out there. They're a player.
Yeah. Corner still has games against Oak Grove, Haleyville, and Northside remaining. Of course, we don't cover Corner that much in our Wal-Win area, but they'll be playing Fultondale this week. Dora got the week off, and probably a good week for the Bulldogs to have a week off.
Yeah, it is. They've got to regroup. And, of course, I don't think anybody on either side has to look any further than who they play next week. Both teams go into that. One of them with a lot of momentum after a losing streak broken. The other one coming off of a tough-fought loss. They're first in region play. So, Brett, they know the stakes going in, both of them. And this week to prepare is probably really good.
Wal-Win Sports Weekly here on WJLX. We're live streaming on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Oakman, the Wildcats, 4-1 on the season, 3-0 in the region. They had their way with Carbon Hill, 42-0 was the final score last week.
And they're impressive ball in so many different ways, Brett. Offensively, great running game in between Case and Dickerson and also Tyler Thomas. The quarterback is throwing very good, safe throws accurately. I don't think he had a missed pass. And on top of that, defensively, I think it was 76 yards they held Carbon Hill to overall on the night. So, Oatman's just playing great all-around ball right now. And I tell you what, I think they're going to have no problem this week. But, boy, next week, between them and Fayette, wow.
Boy, that'll be a big one.
Mm-hmm.
You got Tyler Thomas carried the load Friday. He rushed for 4 touchdowns. The Wildcats will host Winterboro. We'll talk about that here in just a bit. But Carbon Hill and Phil Campbell will tangle up this week. Cordova, finally, they get in that winning column, and I know they're ecstatic about that. They picked up their first win of the season at home. They defeat Hamilton. Hamilton normally pretty good, but they were, I think, winless coming into the ball game.
They're winless now,
and they're sure winless. Yeah, exactly.
Of course, our player of the week was David Odom of Cordova, and I had to bring his offensive line out and let them be part of it because, Brett, when a team has 300 yards rushing, that's a really good game. 200 yards rushing is not a bad day. When a back themselves has 100, it's good. 200 is amazing. If a back has 300 yards, their line is doing a great job.
Blue Devils, they trailed 14-3 there in the first half, and I know that fans were probably thinking, oh, no, here we go again. But then they came back. They cut the gap down to 4 at the half, and then really took control, and then David Odom, I think, 4 touchdowns in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, that line was doing the job for him, and he was the first to credit it. They just took control of that game.
All right, the Lynn Bears are 3-1, and they recorded their second straight shutout. They defeated Holy Spirit 47-0.
I don't think any of the first string was playing in the second half.
That's pretty sad too in Class 1A. You don't have much of a second string, but 47-0 over Holy Spirit. You think Lynn may be the cream of the crop in the county, or Dora?
Well, obviously, right now, I gave my power rankings last night on B&B, and because of Dora's lost a corner, I have to put Lynn up top. Now, next week is going to answer the question. Lynn gets through next week. It's going to set up the region championship against South Lamar. Nobody else is going to.
Big one. That'll be a big one. Kel Tittle threw 4 touchdown passes in that ball game. So the Lynn Bears, the Fighting Hastings, we'll call them, continue to improve and get better. A team that's still a mystery to me is Meek. 3-2 on the season. Set a school record for points scored in a game against Phillips.
All in one half, too.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
10 first half touchdowns. 72-8 was the final score. They built the lead to 72-8. Then, of course, there was a late touchdown, 72-16. But they get a much-needed week off.
And I tell you what, it's coming at a good time for both Meek and Addison. They are both coming off surefire good victories to raise their momentum.
Yeah.
And that's something that they need going into an off week.
But Meek is still a question mark. But I was talking with Coach Evans, I think it was last night, you and I were talking, and we were going to try to get Coach Evans on this week, but could not make everything work out. But they got hit with the injury bug.
They did.
And
they also had COVID one week that really ravaged the team.
So when you're talking about 1A football, we were talking about earlier, you can't lose too many key players and expect to win.
No, it's very tough.
All right, Addison, speaking of the Bulldogs, they're 3-2. Another question mark to me, Addison. But a big blowout win. They defeat Waterloo. So, what do you think about the Bulldogs?
Well, I actually have Winston County, Addison, and Meek tied for fourth in my top 5 of the Wal-Win area. And I think a lot of that next week is going to go into breaking up that 4-way tie. Right now, I just don't know who it favors right now, but we're certainly going to find out next week, as all 3 of them have some pretty good tests ahead of them.
Who did you have at third?
Oakman.
Oakman, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would tend to agree with your tops. I would have to take Lynn at the top.
Yep.
Would have to go with Dora, second, Oakman, and then it's like a toss-up for the 4th spot because like you mentioned, there's going to be some key games coming up, and I don't know who I would put in that 4th spot. If you had to choose one, you could only choose one.
I'd say probably Winston County.
Yeah, I would go with that. Yeah,
because their only region loss was to a Solent team that has beaten them and Oakman. We know it's a very good team. That's their only region loss.
I would go with that. And they're 3-2. They hammered Greene County, 43-16. Rakeem Moore, 3 touchdowns, threw a touchdown pass. And they're another team that's going to be off this week.
Yeah, and they got Cold Springs next week, and that's a test, but it's not a big test.
Sure, yeah.
The big ones are coming up when they play Tuscaloosa Academy, Aliceville. When they play those lot, that's your playoff. That's going to tell you where the playoffs are going.
Yeah. Jasper Vikings winless on the season, 33-0 to Winona on Thursday night. What can you say?
Winona, I'll tell you what, Winona's defense was absolutely the most dazzling thing to me. The offense for Winona was good, but the defense is what really stood out. I mean, it was like watching something. I mean, they were so fast. It was incredible.
Summit Christian, they're 0-4. They're winless. Curry winless. They're 0-5. But at least the Eagles scored a touchdown last week.
Yeah, and good news, their quarterback, Jake White, was cleared of concussion protocol earlier this week. So that's a plus. They're going into another matchup against another winless team. Jake White back, that could spark some stuff.
We'll see. We'll take a look at tomorrow night's schedule when we come back. Of course, at the bottom of the hour, we will have Coach David Reeves, the head football coach of the Jasper Vikings, joining us. And then at the top of the hour on radio, the Nick Saban Show, live from Tuscaloosa, coming up at the top of the hour. Sebastian, we'll send it back to you for a, let's go 2 minutes. 2 minutes, we'll be back with more from the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper in just a moment.
Willie Nelson and family are on the road again, live in concert.
On the road again.
With the Avett Brothers.
Ain't no man can save me.
Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs. Elizabeth Cook and Particle Kid.
Whiskey River.
The 2023 Outlaw Music Festival, presented by Wheatley Vodka. October 15th, Oak Mountain Amphitheater. Reserved seats are on sale now at livenation.com. Go to outlawmusicfestival.com for more details.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Brett Elmore alongside Brian Hill. I tell you, that's one thing about this job is I love what I do and working with people like Brian. and we always have a good time when we're together. All right, tomorrow night's schedule. Let's talk about what we got on the slate. Sidney Lanier, the Poets, are into town to take on the Vikings. Winless. This is a winnable game, Brian.
It is.
It's a winnable game. The Vikings have been so close to winning a couple of games. This is a winnable game. Next week's a winnable game. If they can win these next two and really build some momentum toward homecoming, which would be the following week against Carver, which will be a big test, but you've got to start tomorrow and start building momentum and get going.
And I think a lot of this is going to come down to who plays more mistake-free ball, who has the less penalties in this game, because I think defensively they're playing good enough. It's the turnovers that's aching them, and we know Mackay is running like a madman. He's doing everything that he can. What's just got to be sustained is when there's coming for passing time, giving Tyler enough time to throw that ball, because otherwise he's just not getting enough time.
Had a chance to talk to the team earlier today and enjoyed that. Appreciate the invite from the school. But I told him, I said, I would much rather be talking about what it means to be a Viking than a poet.
I mean, I don't even give that. That's almost as bad as being a Hokie.
But then that's what I was telling the coaches before I went into the meeting room, and I said, I'm glad I'm talking about being a Viking instead of a Sidney Lanier poet. And then one of the coaches, I can't remember who it was. He must be a history guy because he was like, Sidney Lanier was a poet, and I was like, okay, well, that's great.
And see, I'm just wondering, Brett. Okay, you can model so much of your logos after college and pro teams. Who else are the poets out there? What are they modeling this after?
That's a good question. Is there another team out there that are the poets?
If they are, it must be some team out of South Dakota or Kansas, somebody that you never hear about.
I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that would be the mascot be the Poets. There's been a lot of changes. They're from Montgomery. Robert E. Lee High School has had a name change.
As is mine back home.
Jeff Davis had a name change. Because I was looking at their schedule, and I said, who is JAG? J-A-G, and then I was told that was the old Jeff Davis. And then Robert E. Lee High School is now known as, I don't know. But anyway, I had a lot of name changes, and I was looking at their schedule. I was thinking, who are these people? Who are they playing? But I forgot there was so many name changes there in that Montgomery area on schools. Winterboro is 2-2. They travel to Oakman. The Wildcats are 4-1 on the season. Go Cats! I think it'll be a big night tomorrow.
Yeah, this isn't going to be a repeat of last year. Oakman's
No.
got it together this year. They have so many different weapons. They're playing great defensively. They even have good special teams. And I think really Oakman is eyeing a playoff spot. I think they pretty much already clinched it because they had the same wins last year. They're just trying to figure out which way to go. But I think they're eyeing that second or third spot. And on the way getting ready to start, this should run through.
Coach Hall, I think, is one of the better coaches in the Wal-Win.
Yeah, he is.
He consistently has his team ready to go. They play well. They play hard. Last year, they kind of rocky, but you're going to have that. But this year, they're right back where they've always been. It seems like Oakman, the Wildcats, one of the probably. I don't know. I was thinking maybe is that the winningest program in the area over the past 10 years?
No, I still say that goes to Addison.
Yeah. Yeah, probably would be Addison. Yeah, I was trying to think off the top of my head. But Oakman's been up there.
Very good.
Been very good. Summit Christian. Got to go on the road to Talladega County Central. Both teams are winless. Who gets the win?
Don't know. And the reason why I say that is because Jake White comes back. And if he was not back this week, I would almost favor Talladega Central. But you're having your experienced senior play caller come back into the game when it's time that he's needed the most. They've got a next couple of wins. The next couple of games, they've got teams like Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
They've got Barry. If they can get it going, that would be great. But, you're talking about a roster of only 14 kids.
That's tough. And then what bothers me is that road trip to Talladega.
Yeah.
That's a tough trip. Like I say, 14 kids. It makes it doubly tough, as Woody would say. Addison is 3-2. They go to Good Hope. Good Hope is 1-4, but they are a 4A school.
Yeah, and this is always a really competitive matchup.
It is.
Regardless of the classification. Kind of says a lot about that Addison can compete with a 4A with no problem. But I remember when Philip Smith was at Curry, they used to have knockdown, drag-outs with Curry. But, I don't think Addison's going to have a problem with this. I think it's going to be very nip and tuck for Addison to pull out the win. But it still could be close.
Only ranked team in the Wal-Win is the Lynn Bears. They're 3-1. They travel to Tarrant. Tarrant is 1-3 on the season.
Tarrant is one of those teams that have just been bad recently. Now, a couple of years ago, they'd be about an F-.
Yeah.
They've gotten themselves to where they're about a D- right now. But against Lynn, it's going to be terrifying.
And another game, Vina at Curry. Both of these teams winless. Who gets the victory?
I would just love to try to figure out, everybody, what is the score going to be. My favorite prediction thus far is 4-2. 3 safeties, 2 safeties for Curry, 1 safety for Vina, and that's the final score. But look, Vina hasn't won a game since COVID here. Curry.
Since COVID. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Curry has been absolutely struggling 100%. I really don't know who's going to win this game. I know who needs to win it, though. It'd definitely be Curry.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Curry. I'm going to go with my alma mater. A lot of folks don't know that I graduated from Curry. Everybody thinks I graduated from Walker, but no. Graduated from Curry. I'm going to go with my alma mater. And at home, if they can't get it done tomorrow night, they're not going to get it done this season.
No, because, look, even Oak Grove is very powerful this year, whereas Curry and Oak Grove used to have some competitive games. It'd be like 55-33.
Yeah.
Oak Grove's now blown up when in comparison to teams like Northside, to teams like Hamilton. This is Curry's last shot.
Yeah. All right, so let's go through the games real quick and pick them. Sidney Lear at Jasper.
I'm going to go Jasper. I think they're going to pick it up. I picked that for first win this season.
I'm going to go with Jasper as well. Winterboro is at Oakman.
Oakman easy.
Oakman easy. I like that one. Summit Christian, Talladega County Central.
Toss up.
I'm going to go with Talladega County Central just because they're at home. I don't like having to travel on the road and go that distance. Addison is at Good Hope.
I think Addison wins this one. Might be a little bit closer than we thought it will, but they still win it.
I like a close ball game, but I think Addison will win the thing. Lynn and Tarrant.
No second string for Lynn in the second half.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears, and then Curry, Vine, I already told you. I'm going with the Yellow Jackets.
Brett, I'm just going to have to go toss-up again. I'm sorry. There's no way. If you want me to flip a coin, I will, but that'd be the only way I can make a prediction on this.
All right, that's going to do it for Walker County Sports Weekly here on this Thursday night. We're finally back to a regular schedule here.
Mm-hmm.
We're live at the Pie Factory. We're upstairs where they got the TVs going. Corey is here, and they got the pro game on tonight. Not sure who's playing.
Detroit and Green Bay.
Oh, Detroit and Green Bay. But you can watch the games here and enjoy a meal and enjoy this beautiful evening, man. I tell you, this is a beautiful evening.
Sun goes down, it gets nice.
Yeah, it gets real nice. All right, Coach Reeves is here, so we will take a break. 3-minute break, 3 minutes. We'll be back with Coach David Reeves Show in just a moment.
Willie Nelson and family are on the road again, live in concert
On the road again.
with the Avett Brothers,
Ain't no man can save me.
Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, Elizabeth Cook, and Particle Kid.
Whiskey River.
The 2023 Outlaw Music Festival, presented by Wheatley Vodka. October 15th, Oak Mountain Amphitheater. Reserved seats are on sale now at livenation.com. Go to outlawmusicfestival.com for more details.
Welcome back in, everybody. The Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Coach David Reeves Show. Just got a text, and I appreciate the message, but apparently somebody Christian's at home tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. My bad.
Okay, all right. In my notes, you had
that.
So, let me flip
Homecoming.
my script. Oh, yeah, that's right, because you took the daughter to homecoming.
Yeah, and she's going to whoop me when I get home for forgetting
my
that.
goodness. So, let me say, I changed my pick. Go Eagles. I like them at home. Coach David Reeves joins us now. Coach, good to see you.
Hey, guys. Great to be here. Thanks.
Good to see you as always. And how's the week of practice been? Everything good?
Good week. Good week trying to get through some of the, bumps and bruises that start happening this time of year. But a good week. The young guys went down to Fayette and pitched a shutout the other night on Monday. So we're really happy with that. They're really figuring some things out. I'm glad we're playing a full schedule with those guys. We're just trying to play as much football as we can at every level. Looking back on it now, I wish I would have known the numbers exactly. We would have tried to have a 7th grade team, an 8th grade team, a 9th grade team, a JV, but we're a little borderline right there, on being able to pull that off right now where we are. But we're trying to play as many guys in football games as we can.
That's sort of like the plan ahead is to have something like that.
Absolutely. I mean, we, been really trying to work hand in hand with Toy Bowl as well, until we get 2 teams, a 7th grade team and an 8th grade team. Toy Bowl's a great option. I mean, you never know which one of those kids are going to grow and which ones are going to stay in the game and all that. And so we want as many kids playing football here in Jasper as we possibly can. I know, I've worked close with Duck this year on helping Toy Bowl out every way I could, and being supportive as I could. I want that to be really an extension of who we are at Jasper High School. Make the transition easier, make it easier for the kids as they move up level to level, just really make it one big program, one big family. So it's going really good so far.
Coach, of course, I called the game last week. Got a good chance to see you guys up front. And
right.
One thing that I really took away from that was impressive is our player of the week, JoJo Odom.
Man.
He had 7 tackles. And, Coach, a lot of those were in the backfield. He was really creating havoc.
You've really seen him the last 2 weeks really starting to assert himself. And, be what I think he can be, what he thinks he can be. What we've all been kind of waiting on leading up to this. Sometimes it's just gotta click, and I think for JoJo, it's really starting to happen for him. We're really happy with where he is and how he's playing right now.
Going back to what you were talking about with the Toy Bowl and everything, to build a program in a town the size of Jasper, you have to get on that grassroots, don't you?
I think so. I mean, it's just like the support that's been here. All y'all guys do for our program, and I know you do it for all the county schools as well. But just everything y'all do, everything, the support from the school, from the central office, and then right down through to your point, it goes all the way down. We're going to have kids over there helping car riders at a couple of small schools, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I mean, we just wanted to be one continuous transition, little Vikes, middle school Vikes. I mean, just a whole growth. But we feel like it's good. I want those kids to be comfortable around me and comfortable around our coaches and all that stuff from the time they start playing football.
What does it mean to be a Viking?
Man, dignity is one thing. Hey, let me tell y'all all something. I wish we would have had this guy right here on Honor and Dignity. This guy brought it today, man, to our team and gave a little talk. Had all our guys utmost attention, talking about what it means to be a Viking, going through the history. He had me fired up. If I wasn't so old, I would have tried to sneak out there in pads myself and play a few plays tomorrow night. So
I appreciate the invite, but the one line that I forgot, I was talking about honor and dignity, and that's what a true Viking.
Right.
You can still lose honorably as long as you do your duty.
Fantastic quote. I mean, no doubt.
You can still lose honorably as long as you did your duty. And that's what I tried to convey to the team is, the past is in the past. As long as you went out and gave 100%,
right,
and did your dudy.
Right.
And then try to encourage the rest of your teammates to go out there.
So important. I mean, when you look really back, on it, we have the 10 codes of virtue up in our weight room. And it's really, hate the Vikings of old, love the Vikings of old, disagree. Their 10 codes of virtue were really something that we could all we could all really put down. And so I love the speech today. I thought the kids were into it 100%. I mean, they need to know what they're playing for. They need to know who they're playing for. It's always for the why. Every time you go out there, you've always got to remember your why. And the why is the aunt, the mom, the dad that gets me to practice every day, the teachers that support me, all that. But it's also the guys that came before me and laid the path down. And that's why I thought it was glad to hear from you today, somebody that knows the history of Jasper football as well as anybody around, and so and we've talked to the kids about it since the start. I mean, with tradition comes great responsibility.
Yeah, I heard you say that,
and that's something that's really big, and they need to understand when they go out there, they've got a little piece of history tethered into their uniform and number going way back before some of them were even born.
That's right. All right, let's talk a little bit about last week.
Yep.
Another buzzsaw.
Man,
went on them, man. They had athletes up and down the roster.
Yeah, we didn't play very good early. I mean, we didn't play. We were talking about starting fast. A buzzsaw was a good thing. They overwhelmed us, a little bit early before we could play into it. We've got to be better. I mean, we've got to be better early. I mean, we've got to. We've got to get some stops, create some stops on defense. We've got guys in position. We've got, my hat's off to Coach Butler. I mean, and the defensive staff. I mean, when you're getting players free to the point of attack, and, you just got to make the play. Same thing offensively. I thought we had a good plan, up and down the field, and just the chunks that we want to be, staying on schedule, and had some critical turnovers. And then we've got to be better in special teams. I mean, that responsibility starts with me, and it belongs to our coaches. It belongs to our players. It belongs to all of us. But, it's a good plan. We just got to play better.
I think from a defensive coordinator's position, you had to appreciate Winona. I mean, the way that I was looking at it, Coach, I said this during the broadcast. It's like on defense, they have 2 defensive tackles, and the rest of them are all strong safeties. They were fast, they were physical, and they were strong.
Sure. Yeah, we're seeing that, and I know we're going to talk about the game Friday night here in a few minutes, but it's really the 4th week in a row of that type deal. I mean, it's just, you put a couple of big bodies in there and plug it up, and everybody else can run and hit. Offensively, same thing. Up front, they get a couple of pluggers up there up front, and everybody else they got can run and make things happen. And, all it does is makes our margin for error very small. We've got to play good. We know we've got to play good. Inexperience, lack of strength, new offense, new defense. The margin of error in a big game is already small enough, but when you add those things in, man, we need to play good. We really need to play good. We need to get off to a fast start.
Very good. Of course, let's file that one away, and we'll talk about the Poets here in just a few minutes. We're going to take a break. 3 minutes, and we'll be back with more of the Coach Reeves Show live from the Pie Factory in just a moment.
Willie Nelson and family are on the road again, live in concert.
On the road again.
With the Avett Brothers.
Ain't no man can save me.
Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, Elizabeth Cook, and Particle Kid.
Whiskey River.
The 2023 Outlaw Music Festival, presented by Wheatley Vodka. October 15th, Oak Mountain Amphitheater. Reserved seats are on sale now at livenation.com. Go to outlawmusicfestival.com for more details.
2, 1. We welcome you back to the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Brett Elmore alongside Brian Hale and, of course, the coach of the Vikings, Coach David Reeves. Coach,
Yes.
all right, we put this one behind us. Tomorrow night, it's the Poets coming from Montgomery, Sidney Lanier.
We're really excited about it. I mean, a once really, really proud program, having a pretty decent year this year. They're sitting there at even, played a really tough schedule. And so we're excited. You can go back a long time ago, and they've got a really, really rich tradition from back in the day.
I think we're 1-4 against them all time
really?
in
Oh,
history.
man, that's good stuff to know. I mean, I had to bring that out.
Yeah. I think the two teams played they played a series back in the 1960s, I believe.
That is a long time
I'll
ago.
have to double check my research, but I believe that's right. I know we've only beaten them once.
Yeah.
But I'll look at that. But looking forward to having them in town tomorrow. That was one of those late ads for you.
Yeah, we went back and forth. We won to week 0. Maybe so we could have a little bit of time right now to maybe gather ourselves, lick a few wounds, heal a few injuries and bumps and bruises. But nothing ever worked out. We had 3 games, week 0 fall through. They were looking, and, we just wanted our guys to have an opportunity to play 10 games. I mean, all you're ever guaranteed is 10. You hope for more, but that's what you're guaranteed. And we wanted, especially the seniors, to have an opportunity. Me personally, I'd play 20 if they let us, regardless. I just want our guys playing as much football as they can possibly play right now.
Coach, you played last Thursday night. Playing tomorrow night, you've had an extra day of preparation. Has that been beneficial to you?
Yeah, it really has. We've tried to structure both of our Thursday nights so that even though we didn't have an open week, maybe we could steal some time here for a little bit of healing, or steal some time there for a little bit of healing. It's definitely been great to be back on a normal work week, so to speak. But it's been good.
Yeah, I was right. This series actually dates back to 1922.
Oh, my gracious, man. That's great.
And the Vikings' only win was in 1938, 6-0. They did play a series back in the 60s, 63 and 64, but these two teams go a long way back. They haven't played since 1964.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's a little tidbit for you there. But
good.
Let's talk about Sidney Lanier. And I was confused a little bit about some of the teams that they played, like Percy Julian and Jag, and all of those schools. A lot of them changed names from Jeff Davis to
Jeff Davis, and
Robert E. Lee.
Robert E. Lee, yeah. That's really through some of those name changes. I think a couple of years ago, they've changed some names down there, so it's the same old Montgomery rivalries. Bitter feuds between each other and all that stuff. They just a different name on one of the two teams. But yeah, listen, you're not the only one. I started looking at schedules and looking at this and looking at that when we first got them, and I'm like, man, who is this? I don't. Did they get a new school down? And then I remembered the name changes and stuff. So
I started doing my research on Sunday normally, and I was looking over some stuff and finally dug deep into that and found out what I was looking for.
Right.
But they beat a Park Crossing team 31-0 last week.
Yeah.
And they're normally pretty good.
Yeah, they are, and they're playing really good. Like I said, they're up and down. The games that didn't go their way, you would look at it, and it would remind you, unfortunately, a little bit of us. I mean, they had opportunities, they had chances. Be it a missed tackle, be it a drop ball, be it a misalignment. It's not. You haven't seen anybody just go down there and line up and mash them and hit them right in the mouth, and so it's going to be a huge challenge for our guys. I think they're ready.
When you look at them overall on tape, is there one particular thing that jumps at you the most that they do really good?
They're really, really athletic, and so I can kind of spread that to both sides of the ball. they're able on defense to do some things that a lot of people aren't able to do because of their athleticism. On offense, they're able to cause a lot of problems that not everybody can do because of their athleticism. I think we said off the air, maybe I said on the air, it's like the fourth week in a row, same formula. I mean, they're really good. We've got to be better. We've got a small margin for error, and we're just going to have to step up and play.
Maybe they have a little bit of road fatigue. This is their third game on the road, of the third game in a row on the road. They've only played one home game all season. Kind of surprising. They only have like 3 home games this season. That's
right.
Kind of odd. I don't know if they're going through a transition on stadiums.
So I do know that something did happen early because right at the end, after we had already scheduled corner, they said that they were having to do something at their stadium, and they wanted to. They wanted to know if we'd moved to week 0, and I wished I would have known a little bit earlier. That would have been ideal. So I think they did have some renovations or some kind of thing going on with their stadium, which has probably cost them a home game or 2.
Yeah, it looks that way. All right, so before we get to the keys to the victory and everything, of course, tomorrow night we need everybody's support.
Absolutely.
Another home game should be another beautiful night for football.
Absolutely, man. The weather's been fantastic this week. I know we commented on it last week, how pretty it was even up here as the sun starts going down. It really feels like football time. Hope everybody comes out and supports these young men. Boy, they're really putting in the work, and so we all need to really get behind them.
You were talking about, I think the team went and supported the volleyball team earlier in the week, and I had to go to my son's wrestling.
Right.
And I had to go to a wrestling meeting last night, and I was just so surprised to see how much activity after hours. You had the wrestling meeting. You had
a cheerleading practice right after y'all.
Cheerleading, and then the volleyball was going on, and they had Coleman into town,
and Brewer,
and man, it was just a flurry of activity.
It's a lot going on. I mean, it really is. It's a lot going on. It really puts into perspective all these young student athletes. Go through just to keep their grades and keep and all their workouts and all their practice. It really says a lot for those young people.
All right, we're going to take another break, our final one of the night, a 2-minute break. We'll come back, wrap up with the coach, get the keys to victory for tomorrow. Yep. This is the David Reeves Show on WJLX. Welcome back into the Pie Factory, historic downtown Jasper. Coach David Reeves Show, Brett Elmore, Brian Hill, our sports director, and the head man of the Vikings. Coach, tomorrow night, a 7 o'clock kickoff here at Cairo Gambrell Field, and keys to a victory.
Really excited about it. You know, we're going to have to protect the football. I mean, we can't have scoring opportunities and lay it on the ground or throw it to them or any of that. We've got to protect the ball and stay on schedule when we're on offense. I thought we did a decent job of that last week, you know, as far as staying on schedule. We didn't protect the ball like we should, but we were staying on schedule, and we converted some third downs because of it. Defensively, we got to tackle. I mean, we got to tackle and swarm the ball and you know, just do our job. I mean, they're good. They're not anything that we're gonna back down from or run from, or we're not gonna try and come up with something special other than just playing harder than they do and doing our job. So, and that's the way it is in big football games, and especially even matched. You don't try and trick people. You just line up and be who you are. And I'm excited. I know that at some point this team is going to be who they are. And I can't wait on that moment. They're working hard, and they really they work hard enough to cash a check on Friday nights, you know, and it's just up to them to cash it.
Very good. That's going to do it this week for the Coach Reeves Show. Coach, as always, appreciate your time.
Appreciate it, man. Thank y'all so much for all you do. Go Vikes.
Go Vikes. All right, coming up next, the Coach Nick Saban Show will go live to Tuscaloosa on the radio. Coach Saban will be talking about that big matchup with Mississippi State. We will see you tomorrow night from Cairo Gambrell Field. Please make your plans to attend. If you can't, we'll have it live on radio for you as well. For Sebastian Black, for Brian Hill, for the coach, I'm Brett Elmore saying good night from the Pie Factory.